Today I am going to discuss about constitutional history post 1857 as part 1. And the first act is Government of India Act 1858, under which Governor General of India redesignated as Viceroy, direct representative of Crown, and all powers of government transferred from East India Company to Crown, and Crown rule through Secretary of State, a British cabinet member, and which was assisted by 15-member advisory council. And this Government of India Act 1858 is also known as Act for the Good Government of India. And the next act is Indian Councils Act 1861, under which Viceroy's Council expanded 16 to 12 additional members, and half were non-officials, as and these could be Indians associated with legislation for first time. So there is a question, who were the first three to be appointed as? So answer is there as Maharaja Patiala and Raja of Banaras and Sir Dinkar Rao. These were the three members to be appointed as Indians. So decentralization represents as restored legislative powers to Bombay and Madras, and during emergency, Viceroy could issue ordinances without consulting legislative councils. These were the points which were done under Indian Councils Act 1861. And now let's discuss about the Indian Councils Act 1892, and under it some non-officials could be appointed on recommendation of lower bodies, and under it election was introduced under Indian Councils Act 1892, and central and provincial legislative councils, under it functions and powers were increased as to discuss budget and to address questions to executive, and number of additional members were also increased, number of Indians too. And now another act is, the act is called as Parliamentary Reform. Somehow it is asked in examination that which Indian Councils Act is known as Parliamentary Reform. So that act is Indian Councils Act 1909, and under it legislative councils were done through central and provincials. Under central, size and functions were increased, officials majority retained, and under provincial, size and functions were increased and non-officials majority introduced. And under Indian Councils Act 1909, first time Indians were appointed to executive councils, and separate electorate for Muslims were also done under Indian Councils Act 1909. And there is a question that who were the first Indians to be appointed as executive? So the answer is Satyendra Prasad Singh Naha as law member was appointed. As under Government of India Act 1919, the division of subjects of administration was done through central and provinces. Under central, subjects of all Indian level like railways, etc., as central budget, and under provincial subjects were done, through which provincial budget to be enacted by own legislature, and provincial subjects divided into transferred and reserved subjects. Under transferred subject, administered by governor with aid of legislative councils, and reserved subjects were done by administered by governor and executive councils without aid of legislative councils. And this whole process, you can say this whole process represent hierarchy, and legislative council replaced by bicameralism, and bicameralism somehow asked in examination that describe about bicameralism. So bicameralism represent as upper house and lower house together, under which majority chosen by direct election, franchise to limited number of people based on criteria like property. Election Direct election was done on the criteria like property. And this whole process, it means Government of India Act 1919 is also known as Montagu Chelmsford reform, and there are some other memorable points. 3 out of 6 members of executive councils to be Indians. 3 out of 6 members of executive councils to be Indian, and extension of separate electorate to Sikh, Christian, Anglo-Indian electorate of separate extension of separate electorates to Sikh, Christian, and Anglo-Indians, and a central public service commission established. So these were the some points with respect to Indian constitutional history post 1857, and in the next lecture I will discuss about remaining part of constitutional history post 1857. So thank you, and please ignore the external noise.